Yo, what's going on YouTube? In today's video, I'd like to talk about Reiju and the deck that I built around Reiju and, well, how I like to play Reiju and some mindsets, things, possibilities, craziness, and all that kind of jazz. Now, this is a bit of a different list. If you don't know what Reiju's ability is, then it is when a Dawn card leaves your field, you may draw one card. So if a Dawn returns the Dawn deck, draw one. And we have a whole lot of Dawn deck returning. I'm going to start off with my personal tech of the deck, and I'm going to work my way through, and then I'm going to explain everything as we go along. So buckle up for the journey, because here we go. My personal tech for the deck, and what I think is the MVP of the deck, is I'm going to say is this pudding. Pudding, I think, is great tech for the deck. As I've been playtesting the deck, I think this has made a tremendous change in how the deck functions and the things that you want to do and the things you can achieve and how you get to your end game. I think that this card is truly an MVP. Next, we're going to go to a bit of a standard, 4 of the adult Reiju and 4 of the baby Reiju. Just gets a little bit more, like I say, standard from here. Playing 4 of the baby EGG and 4 of the big EGG. Playing 4 of the Porsche, playing 1 Judge, 1 Queen, 1 baby Yanji, and 2 adult Yanji, because blockers are important in this deck. We are playing 3 Chopper. I do want to take it up to 4 Chopper, but I'm still trying to find space. But I do think that you should be playing the blockers. We're playing 2 Sanji, baby Sanji, which is essentially a draw 2 for you. We're playing 3 of the Gamma Searcher. We're playing 4 Stage, as per usual. Our 2Ks are going to be 1 Gina. They're going to be 3 Sora. They're going to be 3 Black Maria. And then it's going to be 2 Sanji. I actually want to change one of these Black Maria to a Sanji, because I'm finding that I'm not playing Black Maria as often as I thought I would be. I'm actually using it more for a 2K. And I'd rather have the Sanji if that's the case, because I'd like to have the versatility of a blocker, because again, blockers are so important in this deck. But let's go ahead and talk about it. So, as I said before, Pudding is the best card that could have been added to this deck, and it is the card that keeps the deck in tempo and makes it so that you essentially get one of your effects for free for a turn. And that's very important, because instead of you having to burn down trying to get up to that Judge turn, you can get up to that Judge turn a little bit faster. You can swing a little bit higher. You can do a little bit more, simply because you're not losing that Dawn per turn. One of the best plays I like to make, or one of the cool little tempo plays I like to make. Hold on just a second here. Let's see if we can do some stuff. So let's just say that hypothetically you open up like this. This ain't like your best opener, but let's just say that you're going second. For some reason you're going second, you're not going first. But you lost the die roll and you're going second. So you're going to go on your turn 1. You're going to go ahead and play out your stage, and then you'll pitch your stage for your stage, and you'll search your top 3. Now, it looks like you only got one option. You'd go ahead and take this, so you have it in cycle and rotation. You go ahead and bottom deck those. You spent 1 Dawn. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and give you 4 life. That doesn't make sense to do. So, this is your hand. Your opponent swings at you. You just go ahead and take, because what do you got? Let's say if they just swung 8 at you, you go ahead and take the 8. It's your turn now. You go ahead and draw. Again, I didn't shuffle that well. So you go ahead, you get 3 Dawn. You go ahead, tap 3. You play a Pudding. And then you tap 1 to play a Sanji. And then you'll minus a Dawn for Sanji's effect, drawing 1. And then leader skill will happen, and you'll draw again. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. And then Pudding's effect will happen, and you'll gain a Dawn. Now, in this case, if your opponent starts swinging heavy at you, you obviously just start getting rid of the multitude of Puddings in your hand, because you got a Reiju, and don't forget to activate your stage. Like would have done just now. So you go ahead and pitch that to go ahead and search your top 3. Probably add another Sanji because you need to start digging. You just need to keep digging at this point. And then, like I said, you probably just get rid of your combinations of puddings to protect against 1 attack. If your opponent does have 2 attacks, let's just say they had played a 3-drop that could swing on their turn, which they probably didn't. So they probably only have that 1 swing because they went so high with that first swing. So they went 8, so they're not going to go as high with this swing. So you got to protect yourself from that swing. So then you go ahead and draw, and you know, so on and so forth. Let's say I didn't shuffle too well, so it doesn't look as impressive. But I wasn't really trying to be impressive with it. I was really just trying to show you like the potential and what you can do. Obviously, this ain't the best, but you know, you probably get rid of another pudding to go ahead and start your top 3. And you just take a 2K because it's really your only option at that point. I think you just go ahead and make the same play as you did before. Okay, again, not too much you can do. Draw 1s for leader, draw 1s for ability. And thank God for that. Pudding's going to go ahead and ramp you 1, so you're going to be higher than your opponent, but that's fine because you're going to be able to play one of the Reijus from your hand for a cost 2. And then you're going to don -1, being even with your opponent at this point. To go ahead and take that out, to go ahead and play the Reiju from your hand, and then you go ahead and draw another 2. And you have another Reiju play. So now you can just go ahead and start swapping out Reijus for Reijus, and because you still have the same amount of don as your opponent, you're now about to have less don than your opponent. You can go -1. Okay, get the Reiju out of there. Get another Reiju. You're at 4 in hand, so you draw 1, draw 2, and well, all of a sudden you're sitting pretty good because now you got a 2K, a blocker, 2K, another 2K, a 2K, and a 1000. Your board presence isn't like major, but you know you're getting there. The Sanji are obviously gonna be the first thing to go. At this point, I wouldn't necessarily see your next turn. You're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 don. So if you're willing to give up the pudding at this point, you can, because you do want to start going back up, which you're at a good amount right now. And if you don't want your opponent to focus your life so heavy, you can just go 5 with the pudding, just as a bait swing, because well, your opponent's gonna want to get rid of the pudding, so they're not gonna leave that pudding up. So you can just go 5 with the pudding and go 5 to lead, just to start poking for a little bit more damage onto your opponent, or just start pulling cards out from the hand. Opponent's gonna pass to you. They've got 2 swings and they maybe have some removal. So let's just say that they use the removal to remove. They have some sort of removal, and they swing at you with I don't know, another 6. Or if it's a 5, you just obviously get rid of the big. You always get rid of your bigs as your counter first. If you can, avoid an attack with a big 1K. Just avoid the attack with a big 1K. There's no sense in you taking that, especially since you want to try and get the value of playing it out of trash, not out of your hand. So you get full value out of it if you pitch it for counter and then play it out of trash, as opposed to you taking a life, especially if you don't need to take a life, especially if you want to play another Reiju. And seeing is your hand does have the ability to play another Reiju at cost of a card in your hand, which you can totally afford at this time. It wouldn't be bad for you to play another Reiju just to go ahead and start digging some more. So like I said, let's just say that was your opponent's turn. They played something to pop, they swung again, and let's say it was for a bigger swing. Like I said, you got 2 blockers. You can go ahead and take and afford one of those 2Ks. I'd even say you can actually afford the Black Maria if you didn't want to get rid of the 2K, because you had enough don to where you're fine. So you can even get rid of the Black Maria. And on your turn, you'll be, like I say, at 6 don. You'll draw for turn. You have Yanji. You got that big one that was sitting in the graveyard. So now you got some major moves you can make right now. So what I would do personally, and I'm at 6 don, is I would just go 5 lead. I have my stage up. I go 5 lead. I go 5 lead again. I would go ahead and go into a Don 2 for a blocker so I can get +1. I know that I'm already still behind my opponent, so I'm not really worried about that. Then I would go ahead and replace a Sanji with a Ichiji. Then using leader scale, I'll go ahead and Don -1, replacing Ichiji with another Ichiji, giving my opponent something else that they have to deal with. And like I said, if there was a body on board, you could choose to swing at the body. But then if you were going to do that, you would play the Ichiji first to go ahead and reduce the body and to go ahead and easily get rid of the body with one of your 5K swings, or at least force cards out of your opponent's hand with one of the 5K swings, so that the 7K swing can effectively go through to life, or just effectively get rid of the body. But you really just wanted this to go to life, so they're more so focused on trying to get you out as opposed to you trying to get them out. And that would have been all 4 of your Dawn as well. Again, it's your opponent's turn. You've got 1 blocker, so and nothing but 2Ks in hand. Your opponent can't go for your life. At this point, you can actually afford to take a life, or you can just block the life to use the blocker as a blocker, because why not? Just go ahead and take him out and block whatever block attack your opponent's going to do. Your opponent comes again at him. You can actually let one of the Reiju dies, because again, you don't mind going to the graveyard and just kept them from taking one of your lives, and you still got creatures on board. You didn't use the field spell last turn because, well, you want to keep the cards that you had in hand, because you want to keep your 2Ks, because you want to make sure that you got something to keep you alive to go out the end game. See another Ichiji, and at this time we can actually start getting funky with some things if we want to, because we can. Now, we do not have another Ichiji in the graveyard, but we got some possibilities here for really dumping our hand and really causing some things to happen. So we're just going to go ahead and do that and just see what happens. So we're going to go ahead and rest the stage. So go ahead and look at the top 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to have to get a judge, which is insane. And we should be at exactly a Dawn at this point if we get our 2 Dawn back. So we've got some plays here. So now we're just going to go a simple 5 into whatever's on board, or what is it, life, or life. Yeah, we're just going to go to life because we have so much life. It just only makes sense to go to life at this point, because your opponent's going to be forced to go at your board. And even if they do go at your life, it's not really going to matter. So you're just going to go 5, 5, 7 life. You're going to tap your 8. Play out your judge. Yeah, you're going to lose your 2Ks, but that's fine because you're going to gain back so much more. You're going to go into a, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So no, wait, we wouldn't get rid of the Sanji on board. Did we get rid of the Sanji on board? What did we just do just now? I think we did anything. Could we only go? Damn, I think we're actually lacking. Can he only get Germa? He can only get Germa. Wait, Germa 66. So I only got the 2 Germa 66s. It's unfortunate. It means I can't replay another Ichiji, which would suck, because I only have the 1 2K in hand after that. And then I'd have to pray for Reiju Day, I guess. Should be a draw once and draw twice. And Reiju unfortunately does not hit for me. I'm out of the card space, so I can't play another Ichiji. I got one sitting here in the weights. At this point, really, like I say, you just don't really care what your opponent does. You just, they can go in at your life if they have the creatures to go in at your life, but you're sitting a little okay. And even if you were to take 2 lives, you've at least got 9K encounter and a good retaliation. So you've got this entire setup. Plus, like I say, you're gonna, even if your opponent, let's say, gets that last life from you, like I don't see them surviving with that being also a 2K. You know what I'm saying? You having 10 Dawn at your disposal at this point, and they've been just protecting themselves, and you got all these big K swings coming in. Like, it's just, I don't see how they survive. You can go through the in-game scenario, but it's obviously going to be the a 7 to life if you need to, 7 to life if you need to, 7 to life, 8 to life, 5 to life, sacrifice, tribute off. No, you wouldn't even go that many to life. you would actually just go base 5 to life, 5 to life, 7 to life, 8 to life, then sack him off for himself, and you would still go 5 life for him, yeah. And then you would play him for him to swing another 7 to life, and then on some cheeky shit, you would sack him off again to play the chopper, to sack him off to play the Ichiji to swing another 7 again. I'm pretty sure that's game. Because that used 1, 2 for the chopper, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Ichiji, 1 for the Dawn plus. You still got 3 Dawn left over. You just swung 7 a bunch of times. You can swing that 8 to lead as the last swing. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that's game. Like, I'm positive that's game. I don't know of any board state that could survive that. I mean, like, they would have to have a lot of blockers and a lot of cards in their hand. But I'd say on the way up, that would have been possible because of how the game would progress. But that's just my opinion and how I would play the deck and how I go about doing things, if I were to go about doing things. But you guys hopefully enjoyed the video, and have a good one. Our outro still ain't outro, and I wish I could just, why is this popped up? This is making this awkward now. It was cool, and now it's not.